Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our weekly updates with some of our travel partners. And today I'm really excited about this product. It is Club Adventures Women Expeditions, and we have Brooke Hamlet from Club Adventures who's going to tell you all about this fantastic product. Brooke?
Thank you for having me here. I have been looking forward to this presentation. I really believe in these tours and how powerful it can be to travel in a group of women on a tour created by women. So this is our Women's Expeditions. In the past, you may have heard it called Women Explorers. I think the name change came in to really express the type of travel this is. All of the tours I'll be sharing with you today fall into what we call original adventure travel style. So these are not premium luxury tours. These are about exploring the destination and having a comfortable but simple accommodation along the way. So expedition gives it more that feeling of, you're really out there and discovering new things. Like I said, these are specially curated by women for for the AAA market and uh, for your clients. So just to give you a quick note, Club Adventures, we do also have multiple, over 1,000 itineraries around the world, all types of touring, always small group. But I'm only going to be talking about women's expeditions today, but you can always visit our website, clubadventures.com, to see all of the places we go and all the styles that we have. So why should you be selling to female travelers? Here's some statistics, and these are now, maybe even higher than when this slide was made. So it's at least these numbers. 75% of travelers who take culturally immersive trips are female. And it seems they have that interest in feeling what it's like to not just visit a place, but understanding what it's like to live there. And there's been a 230% increase in the number of women group tours in the last 6 years. So we're not the only ones doing this, but we do it in a different way with the small group, with our local focus, and all those things I'll be telling you about today. And the travel industry is finally waking up to the economic power of female travelers. They've always known that it was usually women picking the trips, as you probably know, working with your clients. But there's finally an understanding that this type of travel, solo female travel or just women in groups, it's really a way to move the needle and grow sales for agencies and for companies. So what are our women's expeditions? These are women-only tours, as I've mentioned. Right now we have 5 itineraries, and I'll be going through each of those in a little bit. And these are, it's not just let's take a trip we offer and just say it's only women. We include experiences that are going to be of particular interest, perhaps, or give a view of the life of women in the destination. And we found that this type of travel helps people to create incredible connections. I mean, it's not just where you go, but who you go with, I always say. And whether you are going on this with friends or you come as a solo, you can let your travelers know that they're going to feel like they're part of a group. That's how small groups work. Usually after that first welcome dinner, everybody's friends pretty quickly. And on these tours, our guides, which we call our local leaders, they are always female. So definitely a unique perspective on the world, especially on these destinations that we currently offer. I mentioned Club Adventures does small group tours, and for our women's expeditions, they max out all of them at 12 people. So there will never be more than 12 people on one of these trips. You're going to feel like a traveler, not a tourist. and you get to experience the destination, be absorbed in culture and history, and like I said, make those amazing connections. And maybe you'll be jumping up and down like these ladies in their Club Adventures t-shirts. I mentioned the local leaders. The thing to keep in mind, aside from being female on these trips, they are local to the destination. They're in this job because they want to share their region with you. They are passionate. They're not just pointing to things from a bus. They're really explaining, really offering insight, definitely can give you tips on the best place to go during your free time, so that you can explore the way you would like to. I mentioned that currently all the women's expeditions are original style. For accommodations, that's going to mean local hotels, guest houses, or like a B&B feel, and even some homestays. And it's about 2.5 to 3 stars on average for those accommodations. There could be some unique stays, like the homestay is unique. We have farm stays, we have some camping, which I'll get to on the itinerary that has that. And the pace of the tour is relaxed. It includes that free time. It also gives you the off the beaten track vibe, the feeling that you're not just being shuttled through tourist stop to tourist stop. So less like a traditional guided tour and more of just moving around in that nice small group. So the first one I'll talk about today is Morocco. And in Morocco, this starts and ends in Marrakesh. So it's exploring some of the lesser known parts of Morocco, which is what I like. And yes, you get to meet camels on the trip. This one, let's see, sorry. You're going to find out what it means to be a woman in Morocco. And part of it includes hiking with the first local female guide to ever lead hiking in Morocco. That's Mama Bia. And you'll learn from the best. You'll get to make couscous and khobz, which is flatbread, with local women. There's a lot of hiking on this one. It is ranked an activity level 3 out of 5. So everything we do is ranked out of 5. If you're in generally fit shape and you can handle, walking for part of the day, you can complete our level 3 tours. And let's see, there's even on this one, you get to dress up in the henna makeup and wear some traditional dress and go to a party that imitates a traditional wedding in Morocco. So some things that, if you just went there on your own, you wouldn't be able to do. We open the doors to those unique experiences. And this one is 8 days, 7 nights. You can see it's right around $1,000, depending on dates. And this one includes quite a few meals. It includes all your breakfasts and most of the dinners. Moving on to Jordan, this is an 8-day expedition. It gets past those kind of traditional barriers that are there for tourists, and you really can learn from the local people. Again, another henna experience on this one. This time you will be with the Bedouin women who have been using it for centuries, and they'll be showing your traveler how they do that. One of the things on this trip is that in Jordan, there are restrictions on when women can be places and do things. For example, there is a beach on the Dead Sea that one day a week is a women's only beach. So that's the day we visit. And you get to float in the Dead Sea, spread some of that good mud on you. We also do, let's see, let me go to my next slide. Of course, you're going to go to Petra for a guided tour. And you don't have to get matched you don't have to see the matchmaker to get your match, but you'll learn about marriage customs from a traditional matchmaker in Jordan. This one starts and ends in Amman, and it's 8 days, 7 nights, and it's also an activity level of about 3. Our next destination is Iran. Here you'll discover culture and camaraderie in Iran through the lives of the women who live there on a female-only expedition. It's 12 days. You'll be with your local female leader, and you are going to do some activities that are off limits to mixed gender groups. You get to go places that only women can go. For example, you'll go to an Iranian beauty salon, where one of the few places where women can, remove their hijab and get their hair and makeup done, and so really see them in their comfortable personalities there. There's a women-only park that you'll go to, and you get to meet some entrepreneurs among the Qashqai people, to hear their secret recipes. And also, I want to let you know that this trip is made for everybody. So whether you're young or old, religious or secular, conservative or liberal, this will be a comfortable tour for those travelers. It's not leaned to any religion or anything like that. So again, here's some of those highlights. Here, the ancient city you'll see the remains of is Persepolis. And yes, in that women's only park, you get to be outside in Iran without a head covering. You can see in the photo here the local women versus the 2 women on the tour. They just cover their head with a scarf. Starts and ends in Tehran. It's 12 days, and this one's only an activity level 2 out of 5. So if somebody's not sure they're up for as much hiking as would be on the Morocco tour, or one of our other ones with all the hiking, but they want to try a women's only experience, they're interested in the hidden world of Iran, this could be a good one to start with. Then we go to India. This one is you're going between villages and deserts. You're getting to know the lives of local Indian women, and you'll see the culture through the eyes of women in India. In Delhi, you will, understand what it's like to travel in a female-only carriage on the metro. And then we head out to the Thar Desert, to meet local women and enjoy traditional dance performances. So that's an interesting part of this tour. And you can see on the map, the kind of little loop out in that Thar Desert. The transportation on this one is fun. It includes everything from, bus, an overnight sleeper train, private vehicles, to cycling rickshaws and auto rickshaws. So some unique modes of travel on this one. And this one does have camping one night with basic facilities, but the rest of the nights you're in hotels or on that overnight train or in special heritage properties. And this one includes an eco tour. It includes, of course, seeing the Taj Mahal, but before you go, you'll get to go visit with local women who will offer you a selection of their saris to put on so that you can visit the Taj Mahal wearing a sari. Again, this one is 2 out of 5 on activity level. And it's a nice long trip, 12 days. For Peru, and this one's been so popular for us lately. We sell a lot of the Morocco, a lot of the Jordan, and a lot of Peru. So, and it seems like it's a destination that your travelers are asking for. They want to see Machu Picchu. They're interested in the cities of Cusco and things like that. So we have this one. This one includes llamas. We had our camels in Morocco. There you have llamas. Now in Peru, part of this one is a 4-day trek on the Inca Trail. So that's what makes this an activity level of 4 out of 5. Not that it's particularly difficult hiking, but it is at altitude. So people do need to be aware if they need to be in pretty good physical condition, and what they can do at sea level, they may not be able to do up at that altitude. So they'll want to, take a slow pace, but these are paced for the travelers. So they're not incredibly fast. So something to keep in mind. And I was talking with a colleague today, and he mentioned the most important thing is good socks. So if you want to give your travelers some inside information, tell them it's all about the socks. And of course, this includes a visit to Machu Picchu. In Lima, there's a walking tour of downtown, and you get to visit some food stalls that are owned by women owners to support business, and learn about how they use their money to support the education of their children. You'll learn traditional weaving techniques in the Sacred Valley, and of course, just the dining experiences, the unique foods you'll be trying. This is a great adventurous trip. And the transportation on this one is train, your own 2 feet, and there is an interior flight from Lima to Cusco that's included in this pricing. Of course, the pricing that you're seeing is not inclusive of airfare from home to destination, but if it's an interior flight, like on this trip, it's included. So now that we've looked at the 5 destinations, and I'm happy in a few minutes here to take questions about any of those destinations or those tours, I just wanted to point out a few more things that come up when we talk about these women's expeditions. So people say, what about solo travelers? Of course, we do have plenty of women that come on their own, and they may choose to pay a single supplement, or they may choose to be a part of our single share program, which is where they sign up willing to be paired with a roommate. These are women-only tours, so I shouldn't have to say it, but on our other tours, of course, the roommate is always someone of the same gender. And what's also nice for solo travelers, whether they're single or whether they're sharing a room, is they have that safety and security of a small group. And it can be intimidating to really go somewhere just by yourself. So once they get to the destination, they'll feel like they're part of a group. I did also want to mention, sometimes people say, well, I have, a group of friends and we want to do this, but we don't want to be in a group with other people we don't know. So that's when our Just Our Crew product comes into play. These are what we call our private groups. You get the full itinerary, you get the local leader, all the things that are included in that tour itinerary. But with as few as 6 people, you can make it a private departure with a minimal supplement for, the size of the group, or, depending on the dates you select. Because on this one, you can indeed, if you're doing a private group, select a date or a date range that's not one of the published dates for the tour. Yes, we do air. You can always ask us to quote air on travel with Club Adventures in general. And then if you have a group of 10 or more, we can start customizing things, add in a day here or there, or add an excursion, or add pre and post, which we can do. Pre and post we can do on, even somebody that's just booking a a standard published departure date. But when we talk about customized, like really changing the itinerary or anything like that, that's with 10 or more passengers. And I mentioned that our women's expeditions max at 12 people. However, if you have a private group that's 15 people, we can always put out the request and see, depending on dates, if that group can be accommodated. Some of the reasons that these groups are only 12 are that the accommodations can only have a certain number of rooms, but sometimes they can swap something out and make it work for a slightly larger group if it's a private group. And so I also want to mention that we can be a one-stop shop for you. So you can call us. There's our 844 number at the bottom of this slide. You can go on our website. On our website, you can check availability. You can even click through to request a quote if you don't want to call. There's a little box you'll mark that says, I'm a travel agent. And then you tell us, as much information as you can about the trip, and our reservations team will follow up with you with a quote. We can book your pre and post nights. We can add optionals. They can book air, as I mentioned. We also have some contracted air rates, especially if we're doing a group. And what's nice on the contracted air, if we have flights with contracted rates, is we can delay payment on that so they don't have to pay the full cost of the air when they're booking. It can also be changed easier if we need to change the date of travel or something. Also on our website, I want you to know about some of the perks available to you as a travel advisor. When you go on clubadventures.com, at the top of the page, you'll see an agent login button that you can click. And when you click on that, you go into a part of our website we call the Adventure Center. And here if you don't already have a profile with Club Adventures, I want you to go on today after this is your homework, and make a profile. It's really easy. You just put in your club, your city, your name, your email. It's nice to put a picture. I'll tell you why in a moment. And that's my next point, actually. Once you're logged into the site, if you go back to the public-facing side, just clubadventures.com, and you pull up an itinerary, like let's say you pull up the Jordan Women's Expedition, there will be a button that says Share, and that will create a link you can email to your client to take a look at the tour. What's interesting about the link is it is unique to you because you're logged in. So when they click it and they go back to the website, they won't just see a call to action of, call to book or contact your travel agent. It will say contact, I think we had an agent named Kay in here today. Contact Kay with your little picture and your phone number and your email address. It will say that you are their adventure travel specialist. We sell only through AAA agents for the most part. Occasionally somebody will call and book direct, but we try to send them back to an agent so that we keep that booking process. And so it's really a great way to share itineraries through the website. Also on that Adventure Center side, your side, we have resources like previously recorded webinars, videos from destinations, you name it, it's in there. And the other thing is, and there's a little picture of it here on the slide, that's what this picture is. When you see an itinerary on the site and it says view extended trip notes over on the left, that's because you're signed in as an agent. You're able to click that. That's going to make you the expert on the tour. So it will tell you, a packing list. It will tell you all about the transfers at the beginning and end of the tour. It will tell you, certain things about when they need certain shoes for a portion of the tour. So you always want to click on those extended trip notes. It'll help you answer a lot of questions. And of course you can call us, but since it's there for you, it's nice to be logged in so you can take a look. We have additionally forums. We call it our community. On the Adventure Center, you can chat with agents all across the country, other AAA agents who are selling Club Adventures, and it can be nice if say you're thinking about sending a group to Iran and you haven't been there, or you don't know an agent who has. You could go on our Adventure Center and say, hey, I need some tips on Iran or some experiences of someone who's been there. And either somebody from our Club Adventures team will respond, or we love seeing agents responding to each other and creating topics on the forum. You should know too that your travel discount with Club Adventures is 25%. So you can go on one of our tours at 25% off. That's if we're not offering a FAM. And I always try to keep people updated about FAM opportunities. So if you're paying for it, it's 25% off, and your companion is 15% off. We even have a point system where after you've made a booking, you can use your points, which we call Adventure Bucks, to buy yourself up to a 40% discount on travel. So I've given you a lot of information. We went through the itineraries, and again, I want to take your questions here in a moment. We went through private groups, solo travelers, and then about our website. So here are some handy things to jot down that you can do to stay connected. Of course, the website. You can follow our public pages on Facebook and Instagram. The handle is @ClubAdventures. We also have a private Facebook community, and you'll just want to search for Club Adventures AAA Agent Community. And then the reason my name is not at the bottom of the slide and you see Steve Murphy is because he is technically the BDM for your territory. Steve asked me to pinch hit today and give the presentation in case there's, a question about female perspective, since these tours are aimed at women. So I was happy to do so. And we're all a team here. So, but that's Steve's information. He's steve@clubadventures.com. You've probably received emails from him already, or been in contact, or been in a training that he's done. So,
hey, Brooke.
yes.
This is Connie. You got a question.
Okay.
Is the Vietnam Culinary Tour still operate?
The women's expedition to Vietnam is not operating at this time.
Oh, okay.
If it comes back, we'll let you know right away.
Okay. And then I had a couple of questions myself. One, I wanted to know if you have guaranteed group departures.
So, on the women's expedition product, technically we do say that, the minimum of one person on these tours, but, we generally see groups go out with 8 to 12 people on them. Especially these women's expeditions, they're so few and far between that on those special dates, they do sell out to 12 people often. I'm not aware of ones that haven't gone. If there is just like 1 or 2 people signed up, we may offer to see if they want to combine with another group or on a different date. But we'll make it happen if somebody really wants to go on that tour.
Oh, perfect. And then I just wanted to see, is there any type of trips that you have that maybe for people that are a little more physically, maybe in a wheelchair, or maybe use a walker, that type of thing? Do you offer anything like that, or is this really not a kind of your niche, I guess?
So, we don't specialize in that.
Okay.
So if it's something they can do with a travel companion, if they need a companion to help them, or they can help themselves and they're comfortable with, everything that's described in the tour, I wouldn't dissuade them, but, just let them know we don't specialize in in accommodations overseas, just because some of these destinations are not set up to handle it, unfortunately.
Yes, and that's a very good point. Yep, very good point.
Oh, and Steve made a good point. He posted in the chat, there is a Vietnam Real Food Adventure. It's not a women's expedition anymore. That we're not currently running just a women's one, but there is a Vietnam culinary tour, and he put the link in the chat.
Oh,
So,
perfect. Thanks, Steve. And
he's
does anybody
here
else?
making sure I do
Yeah.
a good job. Since you're his agents.
And does anybody else have any other questions? You can unmute yourself or you can type them in the chat.
I can go back to any of the itineraries.
Can I just make a comment? This is Kate from Denver.
Hi, Kate.
Hello. These look really fun, by the way. My only question is, with the Iran thing, they do, that's such a controversial place to go, and they frequently, like grab Americans to do trades, and everything's okay with Iran at this time.
Well, we would always say that people should be aware of travel advisories. They should be aware of measures they can take for their personal security. But because this is group travel and because, we do it a lot, same itinerary, they're taking people to safe places. They're staying together as a group. We wouldn't be operating a tour that we were seeing as problematic. So.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But that's up to the individual traveler, like how comfortable they are knowing that anywhere you go, there are risks. I could walk out to my mailbox and somebody could take my key and steal my mail, So it's really up to, what they're willing to experience.
All right. Thank you. And the
This
only
is
other
a-
thing.
Steve
Oh.
had something to
Oh.
say on that, I
Oh,
think. Hey,
sorry.
Steve.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but yeah, this is Steve here. Hi, everyone. I've led tours in Iran in the past and have traveled with women in Iran. And this may sound counterintuitive, but I actually found Iran for women travelers one of the safest destinations that I've been lucky to travel in. Yeah, I found women in particular were incredibly welcomed, incredibly taken care of. And the Iranian people in general just incredibly welcoming. Iran does have a culture of hospitality and welcoming people in. And they really want people, in particularly Americans, to see Iranians for themselves and just to realize that they're just like us. They want the best for their families. They want to get food on the table, all this sort of stuff, just like we do. And I actually felt that they even go above and beyond once they know you're from America, and it's just like, hey, well, I want to show you just how awesome we really are. So yeah, so that was the perspective I had from leading tours and having women on my tours in Iran. It was a great experience.
Okay.
Well, that's sold me. I'm ready to go now.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, because you always see it on TV, Death to America, I mean, we haven't seen it in a long time, but I mean, over the years they have that chant. So, and then the only other comment I want to make, so when I backpacked the Inca Trail, it was slow go. The Sherpas went ahead every day with all of our stuff. All we carried was a day pack with water, a raincoat, and basically, yeah, that was basically it, sunscreen, that kind of thing. And then the pass was at 14,000 feet. So when you said worrying about altitude, I did fine. My boyfriend really struggled to get up the last 1,000 feet. So it was a little challenging, but without having any packs or carrying anything, it was, and you're doing switchbacks and you're stopping at these ancient Inca cities along the way that are all stone, and you get to walk around in them. So there's like breaks and stuff. But and then when you get to where you're going for the night, all your tent and your sleeping bag and everything is all set up for you, and they've got dinner going, and you just walk up and it's all ready to go. I mean, it was so easy. So anyway, I just wanted to mention those couple of things. And that's it.
It's really important. I'm glad that you had that experience to share. Also, I've been told the food is amazing, that what they can cook out on the trail, like baking cakes and things. Amazing. So they take really good care of you, and it is like magic. Your stuff appears, and you
Very
didn't
cool.
carry it.
And we did have one more question come in. It says, how customized can a we trip be? For example, a tour to the Monaco Grand Prix.
Well, what we do with our just our crew trips in general. So, and if it's a group of women and they want to go together, not necessarily on one of these 5 itineraries, they can pick from any of our 1,000 itineraries. And so at that point, I would say we pick something that's already in the region as the base of their tour and add that special experience, see if it's possible. We would check with our ground operators. Again, if there's 10 or more people, we're happy to look into custom things. But we usually like to start with a base of one of our itineraries. It's not so much that we do bespoke from start to end. So I would say that we would pick something down there in the Mediterranean and add Monaco on.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like that's all the questions that were in the chat. Looks great. Brooke, that was a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much for doing that for us.
Oh,
And Steve,
you're
thanks.
welcome.
Yeah, and Steve, thanks
I'm
for chiming
recording it.
in.
People can reach out to me or Steve at any time. So
Okay, well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day, everybody.
thanks everybody for taking time out of your day. Have a
Okay,
great day.
bye-bye.
Bye.